The late afternoon sun cast long, lazy shadows across the park, painting the worn benches and the ancient oak trees in hues of gold and amber. I sat on my usual bench, a paperback forgotten in my hand, watching the world unfold around me. Children chased pigeons, their laughter like scattered jewels. Young couples strolled hand in hand, lost in their own whispered universes. And I, Arjun, CEO of a thriving tech firm, a man whose life was meticulously ordered, yet profoundly empty, watched it all, an observer rather than a participant. My life had become a series of predictable routines: early morning gym, a frantic day of meetings and decisions, a solitary dinner, and then perhaps an hour with a book before sleep claimed me. There was no one waiting for me at home, no one to share a quiet evening with, no one to truly see me beyond my professional facade. It wasn't a life I had consciously chosen, but one I had drifted into after a series of personal heartbreaks and a growing conviction that genuine connection was a luxury I couldn't afford, or perhaps wasn't meant for me. I was 42, financially successful, emotionally bankrupt. It was then, amidst the cheerful cacophony of the park, that a small shadow fell over my book. I looked up, mildly annoyed at the interruption to my internal monologue. Standing before me was a boy, no older than 7 or 8, with eyes like polished obsidian, dark, deep, and startlingly direct. His hair was a tousled mess, his clothes a little too big, but there was an undeniable spark in his gaze, a quiet determination that belied his size. He clutched a worn teddy bear to his chest, its single button eye staring blankly ahead. "Sir," he began, his voice surprisingly clear, though tinged with a tremor I almost missed. "Sir, could you be my father for just one day?" The words hung in the air, heavy and unexpected, like a sudden downpour on a sunny day. My carefully constructed emotional walls, reinforced over decades, threatened to crumble. My mind, usually a fortress of logic and reason, sputtered. "Father? Me?" I blinked, searching for a hidden camera, a prank, anything that would explain this surreal interaction. But the boy's earnest face, the way his lower lip trembled almost imperceptibly, told me this was no joke. This was real. This was raw. "Excuse me?" I managed, my voice a little rougher than I intended. "What did you just say?" He took a small step closer, his grip tightening on the teddy bear. "My name is Rohan, and I need a father, just for one day, please." His black eyes, so full of hope and a fragile vulnerability, bore into mine, bypassing all my defenses, reaching something deep and long buried within me. A phantom ache stirred in my chest, a ghost of a memory I rarely allowed myself to revisit. My own father had been a distant, demanding figure, always preoccupied with work, rarely offering a kind word or a comforting touch. He'd passed away years ago, leaving behind a legacy of financial success and emotional scars. I had sworn I would never be like him, yet here I was, mirroring his detachment in my own way, albeit without the added burden of a family. "Rohan," I said, trying to steady my voice, why me? And why only for one day?" He shuffled his feet, kicking at a stray pebble. Because you look kind, and you're always sitting here, alone, like me sometimes. And for one day, because my teacher said we need to bring our fathers for the school picnic next Saturday, and I don't have one." His voice trailed off, a tiny crack appearing in his brave facade. A tear, bright and startling, welled in his left eye before he quickly blinked it away. The school picnic, of course. A simple, innocent event that, for a child like Rohan, was a gaping chasm of loneliness. The injustice of it, the sheer unfairness that a child should feel this way, twisted something inside me. My initial annoyance had vanished, replaced by a potent cocktail of pity, confusion, and a strange, unfamiliar pull. "Rohan, I'm not a father," I explained, the words feeling hollow even as I spoke them. "I don't have children." He looked up, his gaze unwavering. But you could be, just for one day. You wouldn't have to do anything much. Just be there. And maybe play catch? My friends' dads play catch. Play catch. The simple request hit me harder than any complex business deal. I hadn't played catch in decades, not since I was a boy, longing for my own father to join me, a longing that was rarely fulfilled. The image of Rohan, a small figure yearning for such a basic interaction, was a mirror reflecting my own childhood disappointments. I looked at his earnest face, the dark, hopeful eyes, the worn teddy bear, and a wave of something akin to responsibility, terrifying and exhilarating, washed over me. This was not a business negotiation. This was a child's heart laid bare. To refuse him would be to extinguish that fragile spark in his eyes, to reinforce the very loneliness he was trying to escape. And somehow I knew refusing him would also be to deny a part of myself that had been dormant for too long. "All right, Rohan," I heard myself say, the words escaping before my rational mind could intervene. "All right, I'll be your father for one day, for the school picnic." A brilliant smile erupted on his face, transforming his features, making him look incandescent. It was a smile so pure, so unadulterated, that it felt like sunshine breaking through a storm cloud. "Really? You will? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, sir." He practically bounced on the balls of his feet, his teddy bear almost forgotten. "But on one condition," I added, a small smile playing on my lips. "You have to tell me everything about this picnic. What time, where, what I need to do, and you have to call me Arjun, not sir, if I'm going to be your dad for a day." His eyes widened. "Arjun? Okay, and it's next Saturday at Elmwood Park from 10 to 3. There's a sack race and a 3-legged race and lots of food." He was practically vibrating with excitement. He then proceeded to give me a detailed, breathless account of the picnic preparations, his voice a joyful torrent. I listened, truly listened, for the first time in what felt like years, a strange warmth spreading through my chest. He eventually ran off, promising to tell his mother, Priya, about me, my name, the name I hadn't heard spoken with such innocent joy in a long, long time. I sat there long after he left, the paperback still forgotten. The world around me still buzzed with life, but now something within me felt alive too. The emptiness hadn't vanished, but a tiny seed of hope had been planted, a fragile possibility of connection. The week that followed was a blur of frantic preparations. I found myself actually shopping for casual clothes, something I rarely did. I even bought a new baseball glove, a childish impulse I couldn't explain. My colleagues noticed a subtle shift in my demeanor, a slightly less furrowed brow, a rare, genuine smile. They attributed it to a successful merger, oblivious to the real catalyst, a small boy with black eyes and an impossible request. Saturday arrived, bright and clear. My stomach churned with a mixture of nerves and excitement, feelings I hadn't experienced since my first major presentation. I drove to Rohan's address, a modest apartment building on the outskirts of the city. As I approached, a woman emerged from the building, holding Rohan's hand. She was tall, with strong features, and the same dark, intelligent eyes as Rohan, though hers held a weariness that spoke of struggles. This had to be Priya. Her expression was a blend of gratitude and cautious assessment. "You must be Arjun," she said, her voice soft but firm. "I'm Priya. Rohan told me everything. Thank you for doing this." "It's no problem, Priya," I replied, feeling a surprising ease in her presence. "He seems like a great kid." Rohan, beaming, squeezed my hand. "Arjun, you came!" The picnic was everything Rohan had promised and more. Elmwood Park was teeming with families, a vibrant tapestry of laughter, shouts, and the delicious aroma of grilled food. Rohan, with me by his side, seemed to grow an inch taller. He introduced me to his friends, proudly declaring, "This is Arjun, my dad for today." The hesitant pause before "my dad" tugged at my heartstrings. We played catch, my rusty skills slowly returning. We participated in the sack race, stumbling and laughing as we crossed the finish line last. We even attempted the three-legged race, Rohan's small legs trying to match my long strides, ending in a comical heap on the grass. Every moment was filled with an unadulterated joy I hadn't realized I was missing. During lunch, as Rohan devoured a hot dog, I had a chance to talk to Priya. She was a single mother, working 2 jobs to make ends meet. Rohan's father had left them when he was a toddler, a fact she spoke of with a quiet dignity devoid of bitterness. "He's a good boy," she said, watching Rohan play. "He just misses having a father figure, especially on days like this." "He's a wonderful boy, Priya," I agreed, meaning every word. "He's special." As the afternoon wore on, a profound shift occurred within me. This wasn't just an act of kindness, it was an awakening. Watching Rohan's unbridled happiness, feeling his small hand in mine, seeing the genuine smile on Priya's tired face, it filled a void I hadn't even realized was so vast. The emptiness I carried, the quiet despair of my solitary existence, began to recede, replaced by a sense of purpose, a warmth that radiated from my core. The day ended too soon. As the sun began its descent, casting long, melancholic shadows, Rohan clung to my leg. "Thank you, Arjun," he whispered, his black eyes shining. "This was the best day ever." Priya stepped forward, her eyes soft. "Thank you, Arjun, more than you know. You've given him a memory he'll cherish." As I drove away, the silence in my car felt different. It was no longer the heavy silence of loneliness, but a resonant echo of a day well spent, a heart rediscovered. I looked at the baseball glove on the passenger seat, a tangible reminder of the joy of playing catch, of shared laughter, of a connection forged. I couldn't just walk away. The thought was unbearable. Rohan's plea for one day had opened a door I didn't even know was there, revealing a world of warmth and belonging. The revenge wasn't against an individual, but against the insidious grip of my own isolation, against the past that had convinced me I was better off alone. It was a revenge of life, of connection, of choosing to rebuild what had been broken. Over the next few weeks, I found excuses to see Rohan. I'd drop off books I thought he'd like, or offer to take him to the science museum, or simply visit the park where we first met. Priya, initially hesitant, slowly warmed to my presence. She saw the genuine joy Rohan experienced, and perhaps a quiet hope for herself too. We started having coffee, discussing Rohan's school, her struggles, my own life. We found common ground in our shared desire for Rohan's happiness and in the quiet loneliness we both carried. I learned about Priya's dreams, her resilience, the strength it took to raise Rohan alone. I saw the toll it took on her, but also the fierce love that fueled her every action. And she, in turn, saw past my CEO title, past the polished exterior, to the man beneath, the man who was slowly, tentatively, learning to open his heart again. One evening, after dropping Rohan home from a movie, Priya invited me in for tea. Rohan had already gone to bed, clutching a new book I'd bought him. The apartment was small, but meticulously kept, filled with an air of quiet determination. We sat at her kitchen table, the silence comfortable rather than awkward. "Arjun," she began, stirring her tea, "I don't know how to thank you. You've changed Rohan's life, and mine too." "You don't need to thank me, Priya," I said, looking at her, truly seeing her. The wariness was still there, but now a flicker of something else. Hope, perhaps, or even affection. Rohan changed mine. He reminded me of what it means to live, not just exist. We talked late into the night, sharing stories, vulnerabilities, dreams we hadn't dared to voice in years. I told her about my distant father, my past heartbreaks, the reasons I had built walls around myself. She listened with an empathy that disarmed me, making me feel understood in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. And then, one day, months later, something extraordinary happened. I was at Rohan's school, attending another parent-teacher conference, a regular fixture in my calendar now. Rohan had been excelling, his grades improving, his confidence soaring. As we walked out, Rohan skipping ahead, he turned back, his black eyes sparkling. "Dad," he said, "not Arjun, not sir, but Dad, are we still going to get ice cream?" The word hit me with the force of a physical blow, but it was a sweet, exhilarating pain. Dad. It wasn't a request for one day anymore. It was an acknowledgement, a recognition of a bond that had grown organically, deeply, irrevocably. I looked at Priya, who was smiling, a tear glistening in her eye. "Yes, son," I replied, my voice thick with emotion, bending down to hug him. "We are absolutely getting ice cream." My revenge was complete. It wasn't a vengeful act of tearing someone down, but a profound act of building up, building a family, building a future, building a life that was no longer empty, but rich with love, laughter, and the simple, profound joy of being called Dad by a black-eyed boy who, with one simple question, had taught me how to truly live again. The emptiness of my past was replaced by the overflowing fullness of my present, a testament to the power of a child's innocent plea and the boundless capacity of the human heart to heal and connect. And in Priya, I found not just a co-parent, but a partner, a friend, and a love I never thought I deserved. Our family wasn't conventional, born from an unexpected question in a park, but it was real, it was strong, and it was everything.